Hi, I'm Steve with Revelation Comics, and today I want to talk about our Seidr campaign. Let's go ahead and talk about what Seidr is and what you can expect from it. A broken heart that spawned a nightmare as a Viking king breaks a vow of love to a witch. So the story essentially revolves around King Ingvar, who basically makes a covenant with a witch and with the gods and ends up breaking it, and the consequences that come from this. The idea is that this is a grimdark horror that is set in the age of Vikings, and it features historical warfare as well as magic, Norse mythology, all the elements that you're sort of come to expect from Omen comics and also from Revelation. And I think this is probably one of our best ones. The book is brought to you by Michael Nunnally and Tazana Wasika, who's the creative team from our previous Omenverse titles and from Insurrection as well. And so this is basically Mike's project. Tazan will be drawing it, and I think he's done some of his best work on this book as well. So let's get into what is it about Seidr that I think really makes this book special. Firstly, I would say there's a very strong emotional core to the story. Because ultimately it's about a broken relationship, a broken love relationship, and what it does to both sides. But especially we're going to be seeing the consequences of what a betrayal like that does to the betrayer in return. And so even though ultimately, the witch is the antagonist in this story, she is wronged. And so a lot of what you're seeing is the consequences of that, and how she takes this out on this poor guy. But ultimately, the idea is that you're going to get fun, brutal historical warfare, action. You're going to see flaming arrows. You're going to see Viking raids, pillaging, plundering, everything that you come to expect from the Viking genre. But more than that, there's a Shakespearean flavor to this story that I really, really like. The story is about the hard decisions that a king must make. Heavy, lies the head that wears the crown. But this especially is true when the king makes human mistakes, and those human mistakes impact on his decisions as a king, and how that impacts on him and on his kingdom, which I think is very, very interesting. Mike Nunnally, who wrote the script, is very, very proud of this one. I think he should be. More than one person who's read it has said this is some of his best work as a writer. I'm inclined to agree with that. And Mike himself is very, very proud of this. So you're going to see a lot of passion from him. And, this is not a script that was phoned in. This is something that he worked very, very hard on. And I think it shows. Tazan Awasika's art is excellent as always. And he raises his game in every book he does. Seidr is no exception to that. If you've seen his cover art, or any of the preview pages that are on Twitter or on the campaign page, you're going to see, every page he's brought in has been of that quality, more or less. So, top-notch work by everybody involved. So, from there, let's talk about what you can expect if you support us on Kickstarter. Right now, we have the Kickstarter campaign for Seidr going on right now. As of this recording, there's only a few days left, so please get in as soon as possible. We would really, really appreciate anything that you give us. But I'm going to draw attention to a couple of specific campaign rewards that you might be interested in. So first we'll talk about the $25 tier reward. And we'll talk about what you'll get for that. And I hope you'll agree this is quite a lot of good stuff. So firstly, you're going to get the digital copy of Seidr #1. You're going to get the producer credit for that, which I'll talk a little bit about later. This is standard on all tiers. Okay, so you're going to get it no matter which one you go for. But in addition to that, if you put in for the $25 tier, you'll get the physical copy of Seidr #1 with the variant cover by Tazan Awasika. And I will say that is the better one. All of his variants, I find that Tazan does his best work on those, and I think that definitely shows on this one as well. You'll also get the 3x5 inch Seidr waterproof sticker with the Seidr logo on it. I really love the design of this, and I actually want one of these myself. It just really, really, really looks amazing, and I hope you'll agree when you look at it. I think you'll see the design on the Kickstarter page if you want to see what it looks like. And you'll also get 2 cover art posters by Tazen, featuring the regular cover, which is still really good, and the variant cover art, which is amazing. So you'll get both versions of that. So in addition to that, you may also want to, if you're feeling really generous, and I'll help you consider this, for the $48 tier reward, this is our silver backer rewards. So what does that include? Well, that's everything in the $25 tier. So that includes the physical copy, that includes the Seidr sticker, that includes the poster. So you would be getting that in addition to the other things that are in there. So the things that are unique to the silver reward members will include the physical copy of the standard edition of Seidr number 1. So you'll get both the variant and the standard editions. So if you want one for reading and the other one to, bag and board or whatever, that's, you got that. Absolutely. You'll get a copy of the Seidr number 1 script by Michael Nunnally. So you'll be able to read that and see if you're interested in the process, script to page. Those kinds of things are very, very useful, and you'll definitely get an insight into his process. And I have read the script, so yeah, I know what's in there. You'll also get digital copies of our other Revelation comics, including Blitz number 1 by me and by Tazen Awasika, and Insurrection number 1 also by Mike Nunnally and Tazen Awasika. So pretty much you'll have access to digital copies of our entire library today. And in addition to that, you'll also get a 1-year unlimited access to Revelation comics on globalcomics.com. So, all the digital copies, you'll have access for a year. So anything, that we come out, with in that time, you'll have access to. So, but I can understand that, asking to support a campaign, especially on those levels, especially, with the economy the way it is a bit of an ask. And I completely understand that. And we totally are keeping that in mind with this campaign. So if you're on the fence about it, if you're thinking about it, it's like, okay, this sounds interesting, but I don't know that I want to commit. How do we know, that we're going to get our end of this? Totally fair. So the thing that we generally come up with for all of our books is the digital guarantee. So you will get a digital copy of Seidr number 1, even if the campaign doesn't fulfill. So far, we seem to be doing pretty well in the final stages, but, it's always possible we may not fulfill. So if that happens, you will get the copy, the digital copy, no matter what happens. And also keep in mind that if you're concerned about whether or not, you're actually going to get a comic, because we understand that, not all campaigns fulfill their promises, but we've already done everything. The comic is pretty much done except for the producer's page. That will be done after the campaign is over, but all of the writing is done, all of the art is done, all of these things are done. It's just a matter of finalizing those things, those elements. I mean, you can definitely see there are finished pages for this book, so you are going to get it. It's just a matter, of when, and we've pretty much arranged this so you're going to get it on time. If you back Seidr, you will be listed as a producer on that last page and receive credit for having backed us. This is regardless of what tier you're on, you're going to get that. So that will happen. So in the end, you really can't lose if you're interested in this comic. You can only gain by backing us, and there's really nothing you can lose on it. So I'm hoping that by minimizing the risk, we're kind of showing you that, not only were we fulfilling our promises and we're going to be able to give you the comic that, we're producing, but also to give you a certain amount of faith that you're going to have these comics in the future. So we do all these things for just about every campaign. But there is no way I think you can lose on this, even in the worst case scenario. So I hope you'll think about it. Our campaign page is live. Just search for Seidr, Seidr, and Kickstarter, and you should be able to find it there. Please consider backing us, even if it's on the low tier. I mean, you can just put in a few bucks, and you'll still get the Seidr #1 digital edition along with the producer credit. So no matter what, you will still at least get that if that's all you can chip in. But I hope you'll consider at least the $25 and the $48 rewards. But there are other ones if you want to look for those and see what makes sense for you. That's fine. Thank you very much for your consideration. Thank you for everybody who's backed us so far. We really appreciate everything that you've contributed, and we hope that Seidr will be worth your support. I believe that it is. And until next time, this is Steve with Revelation Comics signing off.